Someone has emailed in today and she says, "Hi Sarah, why do I keep on reaching out to my ex?" Does it sound familiar? I get emails like this a lot and I see it showing up in my clinic time and time again. She says, when we were talking a lot when we first separated a couple of months ago, and now he won't engage in conversation with me. I feel like I'm moving backwards and not forwards. So thank you for your email. And I know that I've got lots of similar emails in my inbox about still being hooked on your ex and still going to them for help, and why do we keep doing it? And it's human nature, I'm afraid, that we are unconsciously in a pattern that we reach out to the person that we've almost trained ourselves to rely on over a long period of time, which is totally normal, by the way. If you've been married to someone or you've been in a long-term relationship, of course they are the person that you reach out to, the person that you go to for all sorts of things. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of adjustment as you get used to being on your own again and having to fend for yourself. So this is a short-term issue though. Please remember, this is normal. What you're going through is natural. So how do you get out of that loop? Well, the first thing to do is to take off those rose-tinted glasses and to actually see the relationship for what it really was. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, we often romanticize and think about our relationships by looking back on all the great times, the romantic times, the special times, the times when we felt great, I think times where everything was wonderful. And then we think, gosh, we're missing out on that. We've lost that. So do you see how we sort of program our minds to see through these sort of rose-tinted glasses? So what I need you to do is take those off, okay? And I know this can be a struggle, but what I'd like you to do is write a list, actually write it physically down, of everything that didn't work for you in the relationship. Okay, I want you to write a list of everything that didn't work, that made you unhappy, frustrated, really angry. Maybe you were like raging over some things. I want you to put all of those down and remember some of the negative times and some of the bad times. Now, this isn't to trash all your happy memories. That's not what the intention is. It's about, though, to balance up the reality of a situation rather than filtering just through this sort of prism of rose-tinted glasses. What I want you to do is actually realize that there were things that weren't working. Now, for some of you, this will be super easy and you'll come up with a great long list in 2 seconds flat. For others of you, you might struggle. Maybe you don't quite feel there were things that are wrong, but I want you to dig deep and just push through and come up with a list of at least 10 things that upset you, even just annoyed you, frustrated you. Maybe it's how you felt. Maybe you felt less than or unappreciated, or whatever it was, that negative impact on you. So that's my first tip, to actually write that list of things that weren't right in your relationship. The second thing is, if you keep reaching out to your ex, stop it. Okay, I need you to stop it. Now, that's not as easy as just stopping it, I know. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, we have to find somebody else that we can put in place of your ex for those questions. So maybe you go to them because they are, I'm remembering some of the emails I've been sent this week. One woman was saying that her husband used to do all the jobs around the house, and even though he's been gone for 6 months, and she's pretty happy about it, she still calls him when there's odd jobs to do around the house, and it causes a bit of tension, and she doesn't really like it when he shows up. So for things like that, if you're reliant on your partner for, maybe it was odd jobs around the house, maybe it was doing a certain chore or a certain activity, then excuse me, find somebody who can take that place, okay? Ask your friends, do you know a DIY man, somebody that can come in and help, or DIY woman, whatever it is, find somebody that can do those jobs, okay? You need to build up a support team of people around you that can do the things that you used to rely on your ex for. So whether that's maybe even doing the weekly shop, maybe it's driving the kids to school, maybe it's the person you go to talk about money, finances, job advice. Find a friend, find a family member, or get referred to somebody, an expert in that field, who can answer those questions for you. Because it's really important that you build your support team so you can move on without being reliant on your ex. Okay, it's all about building your self-reliance. So what is self-reliance? Self-reliance is that when you have an issue or a question or a challenge, what do? Do you go and ask someone? Do you literally reach for the phone and call your friend straight away, or an expert, do you phone them straight away? Or do you ask yourself first and try and solve it yourself? And when you're coming out of a relationship, it's very normal to reach for that phone without even really thinking through the process. So what I'd like you to do to build your self-reliance is to try and answer questions yourself first. So maybe you've got an issue about, I'm not sure how to solve this problem. I'm not sure how to figure out this challenge that I'm faced with. So then ask yourself, well, how would I do it? Okay, and I'm not saying don't phone people. I'm just saying the first few minutes, I want you to ask yourself. Okay, because this is building that sort of self-reliance muscle within you to start to learn, just to see if you would have been on the right track. Because then when you pick the phone up and you ask the person for the help and they say, oh, well, I would do this, you go, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was on the right track. So it gives you that reassurance that you're building that self-confidence within you, that you can do things. You do know the answer to some of these things. And if you didn't, well, you sense checked it anyway, and it kept you on track. So that's what friends are for, okay? But I want you to start building that muscle up, that self-reliance muscle. It's really important. Once you start to do that, you won't need to depend on your ex anymore, and you won't be running to them for answers or support from them. You can do it yourself, okay? Or from your own team that you create around you. There's nobody who operates really on their own. We all go to people for certain things. We'll go to the dentist for our teeth. We'll go to the doctor if we're not feeling well. We have people around us. That's how society works. You can't be an expert in everything. So don't beat yourself up about it, okay? It's about learning to build your own team now. That person may not be there anymore. So we need to find other people that can fill that. And it might not be one person. It might be 3 or 4 people. It might be 15 people. But at least have them around you and look for them. Because I promise you, once you've got somebody else that can come in and do those jobs, or you can phone for that piece of advice, you start to feel more confident about yourself and about your future. So that's super, super, super important. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you was about building up your self-worth. So with all these other things, that will start to snowball. Guaranteed it's going to snowball when you start building your self-reliance. Your self-worth will start to grow because you know you can depend on yourself, and that gives you a bit of a confidence boost. But also facing up those areas where you feel weak. So for example, if you are a terrible cook like me, like you're like, oh my goodness, I'm terrible in the kitchen, and this is now something I'm faced with doing all the time, instead of just worrying about it or feeling bad about it, then solve it. Like follow some YouTube videos, tutorials, learn how to cook better, learn a few dishes that boost your confidence. So you can invite people over and say, I can nail this dish, I'm going to cook for you. Don't run away from the things that worry you, that concern you. That's one of the things as human beings we tend to do, is run away and distance ourselves. So if you can identify a few of the most overwhelming things that's keeping you stuck, from keeping you reaching out to other people, maybe your ex, continuously, how do you hone your skills in that area? Not to be amazing, but just to be good enough for you to be able to get by without having to reach out. So those are my top tips. I hope it's helped. Please share, like, and put your comments below, because it really helps people who are struggling more than you are right now to know they're not alone. And any of your suggestions and ideas, please do pop them below, because people learn from them and they really appreciate it. So big kiss, take care, bye.